Hey everyone, Nick here and welcome back to Gamerjoob, and welcome back to our Poppy Playtime character concept series. So the character we've created for today's video is called Switchy Sloth. So we're going to this character's backstory, gameplay mechanics, and all that good stuff. But before we do any of that, do be sure to leave a like and subscribe as it helps a lot and it's greatly appreciated. It also keeps you up to date with the videos that we post. Alrighty, well with that all out of the way, let's get into the character concept for Switchy Sloth. So, previously in our Poppy Playtime character concept series, we've been looking into a new bunch of forgotten critters. These smiling critter characters all live in a newfound area called Critterland. This was meant to be a safe haven where all the forgotten and unused characters could live. But our main protagonist has found out the hard way that this place isn't safe at all. The two new critters they've met so far were quite hostile and constantly tried to attack them. These critters were Manic Monkey and Tireless Tiger. Manic Monkey was furious that the player ate one of his special bananas, and Tireless Tiger was naturally territorial and hated the player being in her environment. In the end, the player bested both of these characters and continued along on their journey. But as they move forward, they'll be sure to meet another evil resident of Critterland. Speaking of, let's meet this new critter character. So the next character we're introducing is Switchy Sloth. Now, some of you will notice that there's something quite odd about Switchy Sloth. The first noticeable difference is that he looks to be stitched up and down the middle. Both halves are two different colours and he doesn't have a zipper or a medallion. This is due to the terrible accident that happened to him. So, Switchy Sloth wasn't always like this. In fact, his name wasn't always Switchy Sloth as well. What his true name, medallion, and scent are is unknown. This was on account of his character bio sheet being destroyed in order to forget who he was. Ever since the accident, there has been two sides to his personality. One half is his regular, friendly self, and the other half is a twisted and evil version. It was this half that destroyed his true identity and made himself forget who he once was. The good and bad sides are constantly switching between each other, hence his new given name, Switchy Sloth. So, it was never made clear how the accident happened to poor Switchy. It seems that he was trying to hang from two moving machinery parts and suddenly got torn in two. As he laid there on the ground in two pieces, he was surely done for. But luckily he was saved by another mysterious character. They took his two halves and stitched them back together. And after nursing him back to full health, it seemed like all was well. But that was until his other side started to reject itself. It turned a strange off colour and became a complete opposite to his friendly side. So now the two personalities live in the same body, constantly switching between each other. When either side has control, their eye will be open, and the side that lays dormant will have their eye closed. But when does the evil side take control? Well, that depends on if it's day or night. During the day, his friendly side will be active, and during the night, that's when his evil side awakens. But as we all know, places like Playcare have a controlled day and night cycle, and the same goes for Critterland as well. So technically, anywhere that it's dark and not well lit, the evil side of Switchy will be in control. So that's where he's chosen to stay. He destroyed every light source in this area and avoids it at all costs. But there's one more light that he forgot about, and soon he'll realise which one it is. So now we return back to the player. They found themselves in a dark and dimly lit area of Critterland. This place is kinda creepy, and what's worse is that they've encountered another new locking system. These locks are light activated, so when it's night they'll lock shut and stop the critters from walking around. But in this area, it's always locked due to how dark it is. Luckily, the player knows how they can solve this problem. They know of a special grab hand that they can use to get past. They would use these hands in dark and hard to see areas when they worked at Playtime Co. They just needed to find it somewhere in this area. There seems to be a guard post further down the hallway. They were sure they would find one there, so they set off in order to find this special hand. As they walk down the dark corridors, something suddenly tries to grab them from the ceiling. The player dodges it at the last second, and hanging there in front of them is Switchy Sloth. It seems that his evil side is in control at the moment. He stares at the player with his menacing grin and evil eye. He then slinks back up to the ceiling and waits to attack the player again. So now they need to be careful of when he'll attack again. Most times if the player sees some faint falling dust, it means he'll attack from above. So the player just needs to dodge it and move forward. Eventually they make it to the guard post storage room. And there it was waiting for them. This new item is called the Glow Hand. It's a transparent grab hand that glows very bright when activated. It usually produces enough light to brighten any area. It's quite a simple design and function. But it's exactly what the player needs. They just need to be aware of how much time it has when using it. It'll only glow for a short while, then it needs to turn off and recharge. It was an infinite light source, similar to Glimmer Glowfish, but it comes at a short-lived cost. So now they exit this room and head back to the light lock. As soon as Switchy Sloth reappears, the player activates the Glow Hand. The bright glow of the hand has a sudden effect on Switchy. This wasn't just an ordinary light, it seems to mimic sunlight perfectly. And then before he knew it, he switched back to his friendly side. Switchy falls from the ceiling and notices the player. He wants to help them and leads them back to the light door lock. So they both walk together down the well-lit corridor, but eventually the glow hand would need to recharge. And the moment that it does, Switchy is back to his evil persona. He leaps back to the ceiling and waits patiently to attack the player. He needs to destroy that glow hand. When it's done charging, it'll surely bring him back to his friendly self. So evil Switchy must stop this from happening at all costs. The player now quickly rushes back to the door. Switchy will make many more attempts to attack the player now that he knows they have the glow hand. But the sooner the player can make it to the door and unlock the light lock, the sooner they can get to safety. The glow hand hasn't reached its full power yet, but by the time it reaches full charge, they will be at the light lock. So until then, they just need to make a run for it. Every few steps here and there, Switchy will attack. The player just needs to dodge these attacks as best as they can. Finally, they reach the light lock. They can now activate the hand and let the lock charge up with the bright light. But whilst it's charging, they need to be on the lookout for Switchy. When they see him, they would need to stop what they're doing and shine the light on him. When they do, the friendly side of Switchy will awaken and run away. He didn't want to be anywhere near the player, in hopes that he wouldn't harm them if he was far away. But once he was back in the darkness, his evil version would reawaken. So after a short while of charging the light and keeping Switchy at bay, the door finally opens. The player rushes through the door and closes it on the other side. They can see a hand switch that the glow hand can fit in. If they leave the glow hand plugged into this switch, it'll permanently light up the area they were just in. So they go ahead and plug it in. The area that Switchy Sloth resides in suddenly gets bathed in a bright light. All the backup lights turn on and now this area is permanently lit. Switchy Sloth returns to his friendly self and hopefully he can keep it that way. He's thankful for what the player did, and hopefully he can return the favour someday. But for now, the play continues on with their journey. So I think the idea of Switchy Sloth would be pretty interesting. I think that both the good and evil side of him would make for an interesting gameplay mechanic as well. The fact that he's always battling between his good and bad side and always switching is also a pretty cool concept. It seems for now that he has full control and will remain as his friendly persona, but as to if he'll stay that way forever is unknown. Will he revisit the player in his evil form, or will he remain his friendly self? I guess until then, we'll just have to wait and see. Alrighty everyone, well that's all we have for today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please consider leaving a like, commenting and subscribing as it helps a lot and it's greatly appreciated. As always, do be sure to let me know what you thought of Switchy Sloth and what you could see going forward. Also, as always, I just want to thank you all for watching, liking and commenting, and a big thank you to our Gamerjoob members for supporting the channel. If you'd like to be a Gamerjoob member, then click the join button or the link down below. You get some pretty cool perks and also get your name displayed at the start of our videos. But you don't need to be a member to enjoy our content, it's just if you'd like to, and it's greatly appreciated. Alrighty, well, into our next Poppy Playtime character concept video, I'll catch you later, bye.